Thank you,
So
Professor.
should I introduce you?
No. Okay. I'm very pleased to have the opportunity to come here again to give a presentation on something which is very, very unique. It's a concept derived from phase array antenna. In fact, multi-beam phase array antenna, but it's not for the application of antennas. It's actually for the application of data transport and data storage. Okay, and the technology we call is called wavefront multiplexing. So hopefully by the end of the talk, you can bring that with you. What is wavefront multiplexing? Okay, and today we're going to do an introduction of digital envelope. Digital enveloping, which is a special class of wavefront multiplexing for the application of data storage and data transport. In other words, this is completely different applications. Professor Kwong, right? Okay, it's not applied to the antenna field. It's not a signal processing. It's not a direct processing. It's actually doing a data storage for secure data transport and secure data storage. Why this is important? Because every time we talk about secure data storage, we all talk about encryptions. But there is a phenomenon in the antenna they call jamming, interference, okay? And that's a perfect technique to do protection. Because if I can purposely jam the signal, and during transfer I send all the jammed signal to a destination, when I recover, I can unjam it. Would that be great? That's where it comes from, okay? Very simple idea. Now I'm going to do a very quick demonstration, okay? It is this morning because I have to come to give you a presentation. Actually, I was doing some homework, okay? I actually, in my backyard, okay, I have a very large backyard, 100 feet by 100 feet. So I put 4 microphones on one side, distributed microphone. And also I put 4 speakers on the other side. And each of the speakers, I'm going to broadcast to 4 different sound script. Okay, everyone is 10 seconds. They all broadcast at the same time. On the other hand, in my microphone, I record all of them concurrently. I record them. Okay, let me show you what is I'm broadcasting. Okay, there are 4 of them. This is the first one. This is the second one. This is the Korean soap operas. This is a New Testimony, a script of the New Testimony for 10 seconds in Chinese. And this is Chinese opera. Okay. Now I'm going to have a question. If you can answer the question, there's Dr. Lee already prepared some candies. So if you can give good answers, he will give you the candy. Okay, that's all right. Okay. What do you think in the 4 microphones? What you're going to hear? Every microphone. Do you hear in the first microphone? Will you be able to hear all the 4 sounds for sound script arrive at the same time? Right? What do you think? Any answers?
So if they do the same time, they interfere to each other.
Exactly, exactly. So what's the difference between the four difference? Let me see if I can, excuse me. Okay, I'm just hearing it instead of. This is a first microphone. This is what you hear. This is the second one. Any difference? This is the third one. This is the fourth one. Can you hear the New Testimony script? That's our intended. Sorry. Okay. Now my question is, you record all the four. You have 4 sets of 10-second signal. My question is the following. Can you separate the four? Utilize the four stream of data. Any idea? You get 2 chocolates. The answer is yes. If you think about it, using antenna theory, I have a microphone array. I record all the data, so I could do post-processing, which I'm going to do beamforming. The first beam will look at the first speaker and also put 3 nulls at the other 3 speakers. Okay? I'll pick up the first signal. I will also pick out the second signal through the second beam, and third signal through the third beam, and fourth signal in the fourth beam, right? But this is a very interesting. So in principle, if I have 4 sources, I have 4 microphones, I will be able to do post-processing. I'll be able to recover that based on antenna theory. So if I can transmit all the 4 through the through cloud, on the other side, if you have technology, if you know I have 4, you will be able to do post-processing, be able to recover that, isn't it? Okay. Suppose Professor Kuo has all 3 files. Okay, all 3 files except the message I want to convey to him, which is the new testimony. I only need to send 1 through the cloud, isn't it? He will be able to recover and emulate whatever environment he needs and be able to take out the interference, isn't it? So you achieved the purpose of secure communication. Is that interesting? So I don't need to do encryption. I do interference. I do self-interference. I do self-jamming to achieve security. Now, you may say, hey, you may lose during the transport. You may lose it, so I can send 2 of them to them. He only need to recover any 1. He will be able to recover the signal. The 2 of them are slightly different. The first one I sent maybe from a 3rd microphone. The second one I sent maybe from first microphone. They're different, but you hear it's aggregated audios. Okay. Now I'm going to play additional trick. Okay. See what this one will happen. This is I turn on the first speaker by 100 times in terms of power. This is where you hear at the full microphone. What did you hear? Do you see any difference? Did you hear any difference?
It dominating other music.
Good. But let me ask you, do you hear anything else except the piano play?
No.
Okay. My question again is the same. Now I'm going to award three chocolates. Okay. My question is very simple. Can we recover the full signal using the same technique? The answer is yes, right? I'm doing a directional discrimination. As long as I can put a null deep enough, I will eliminate the strong signal. You remember, all you hear is very, very strong signal that jammed, that actually interferes the desired signal. Okay? You have three undesired signal, but with one desired signal. I would like to be able to do the same thing. My intended user will have all three informations. He doesn't have the message I want to indicate. I only need to send any one of the four aggregated audios. The aggregated audio sounds like the piano play only. You don't hear anything else. Okay, that is called digital enveloping. Okay, because I am putting our intended message through a self-interfering signal, okay, floating above it. In fact, from most of people, is actually hiding inside it. You will never be able to recover it, okay? When I send this information going through all the communication channel, after any unintended user, he will only hear the piano play. Okay, nothing else. He wouldn't even suspect I have something hiding inside the audio script. Have I done this before? In here?
No, I don't think so.
You don't think
Not
so?
that clear.
Okay.
Today is much more clear.
Very clear. Okay. Now I done my part. I done easy part as always, and the hard part will have the Dr. Lee going to do a presentation. Okay. So I take all the credit. He do all the hard work. Okay. Here we go, Dr. Lee.
Yeah. Before that, maybe you can repeat one more thing. I want to make sure Ali and Xin Huang got it. What is a digital envelope? Can you repeat it one more time, the definition?
Okay. Digital enveloping is just like envelope you have, okay? You put your message inside the envelope. So when you send the message through the post office, everybody sees the envelope, but doesn't know what's inside. Okay, this is the same thing. When I send the piano play, all you hear are piano play, okay? And they're actually inside information. So you need to go through a de-enveloping process. The de-enveloping process and enveloping process is what Dr. Lee can talk about. And I think instead of talking about all of this, he want to do a demo. We're going to have one-to-one. He will be able to envelope your voice through his technique, and then he can play the voice out, okay? So more what the process can do instead how the process works, okay? That's the purpose of this presentation, okay?
Okay.
Okay.
Okay, thank you. Thank you for Donald's.
Do you need this?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
Thank you for Donald's introduction. So Donald has done all the intellectually stimulating part. So that part is the very most important one. And now I'm just doing the not that important part. But before I start, please bear
No,
with
it's
me.
all
I need to-
important. It's all
I need to please bear with me. I need to set up the computers. The reason, number one reason why I'm here first, because I've got a pack of sweets and I would like to share with you. So please pass the sweets. Okay. So I may have time to set up the computers.
Thank you, thank you. Do you have his voice?
Yeah.
Okay.
So Dr. Chen, my understanding and guessing so far, you are utilizing jamming.
We can stop now.
Yes.
They are not
And
doing
like with
anything.
high power.
We can stop or we have to cut. Or you can later on.
Yeah, I can cut it out.
Yeah, okay.
Coding as in minor, or you may use thread encoding, thread equals like CMA. I don't know, but maybe that is my guessing so far.
Yeah.
Dr. Lee may.
Yeah, in fact, it's perpendicular to the
Oh, okay, I'm fine.
technique
Thank
you do modulation. You can use any modulation you want, as long as you can transmit with multiple channels data stream. Okay, the data stream, once you go through the digital enveloping, before you do modulation, the signal, the data stream, the multiple data stream mixed together become a aggregated data stream. And if you do modulation, that process itself will freeze the relative relationship, including phase. So if you do individual modulation, okay, in other words, the relative phase are already freeze. So it doesn't matter. If you send it over, as long as it lined up the sample, you will be able to do reprocessing. Okay.
Thank you.
So his approach is totally different than the traditional people talk about the time division multiplexing, frequency division multiplexing, code division multiplexing. There may be a little similarity to the code division multiplexing. It's still different.
We have 53 patents with wavefront multiplexing. So we invented, when the first time we talked about to Dr. Ye, he has a student working with us. He looked at it, he said, oh, this is the OFDM. Because we use a frequency domain. But I changed that. I said, we don't need to do a frequency domain. I can do time domain or code division. I mean, it's completely different. Even the frequency doesn't have to be equally spaced. You can choose any frequency you want. You will still work. So it is some special case. This is the equivalent to OFDM. In most of the cases, they are not.
I see.
So this is the same thing. We are working with a professor in UCLA right now. He look at this. He said, "Hey, this is the coding. This is called erasure code." He look at it, but it's one aspect. Yeah, under a special condition, yes, this becomes erasure code. But it's like an elephant. You're looking at from one side, it's like a great. So she's diving into. But I just like you, I'm from antenna. See, the antenna, you can formulate that, capture some of the antenna aspect, like a beamforming in a matrix. But your element spacing, okay, direction of arrival, you cannot capture that. So from where it's coming from, it's a new field. It's just I don't fully understand it, but we happen to run into it, and we find a lot of applications using this. In fact, from multiplexing, we can use it as a beamforming technique. We can do coherence power combining in signal processing. That is after, in transmit, that's after modulation. And this technique is before modulation, okay? So this is see, like a memo is after modulation. This is this technique, same mathematics, but applied for data not for signal or waveforms. Okay, so it's something very unique.
I see. Thank you.
So Marco, maybe just introduce this is Dr.
Hi.
Nice to meet you.
Media.
Media
Okay.
person, just
Well,
so we call it.
nice meeting you. You're an important person.
No, we just started
Okay.
like 20 minutes ago. But, you know, John has all the video recording for the opening remark Dr. Donald Chen provided. And now Dr. Joe Lee going to do demonstration. So maybe before you do demonstration,
Yes.
you can also reiterate what you're going to do and what the things are behind.
Sure.
Okay, Marco is the media person for college
Right.
engineering.
Right.
So she's here today try to understand what the new technology is, and
Right.
she will write in the college engineering blogs, right? And also publish in the Twitters, whatever, Facebook. She's a very good writer, helping us to promote this new technology.
Sure, absolutely. Yeah. I believe you are just coming at the perfect time because Dr. Chen just finished the technical part, and now I'm presenting in another way, hopefully not technical at all. Oh, there's a sweet.
Valentine's Day is coming, right? Good.
Yeah. So the number one reason I'm here today is because I prepare a pack of sweets and I like to share with you. And so now everyone got the sweets, but my disclaimer is there's no free lunch. So later, when I need your help, please come. Please raise your hand and just come to join me. Thank you. So thank you for having me today, and I'm going to continue the second part of the lecture today. But now I would like to tell you a tale in Valentine. It's February, and romance becomes the theme of February. And the beginning of a love story may be like the following. Bob is a nice guy, and Bob wants to ask his dream lady Alice for a date. Bob wants to introduce himself to Alice, but Bob is shy. And so what can he do? Fortunately, although Bob is shy, he remembers he was sitting in Dr. Donald Chen's lecture on February 2nd, 2018. So he learned the principle of wavefront multiplexing. And we use another code name called the K-maxing, alternatively, interchangeably. So what Bob can do is to apply the principle of K-maxing. Instead of sending Alice the simple message, I am Bob, Bob sends Alice a few messages like this. Alice receives the messages, but each one gets her confused. When Alice goes through each message, each one just seems so ambiguous. I am your classmate. Okay, so could this be Mark? I'm very good at singing. All right, so would this be Justin? I am tall. Okay, could this be Brian? I drive Tesla. Well, so could this guy be a rich man, a millionaire or billionaire? Well, so before it becomes too long, Alice figures that out because Alice is smart. She has every woman's amazing attribute, the sixth sense, the unquestionable instinct. Okay, Alice also remembers she was sitting in Dr. Donald Chan's lecture on February 2nd, 2018. Although she did not know Bob was there, Alice learns the principle of wavefront demultiplexing, or we call it K demuxing. So after putting all of these ambiguous pieces of information, because Alice is wise and smart, she applies the principle of K demuxing, and ping, she figures that out. Oh, it must be Bob who sent me these messages. And among all of these messages, probably some of them, for example, the first one is the most unlikely, but she still can figure that out, okay? Because she's already got sufficient clues to figure out, oh, it's Bob who sent her the messages, okay? And the cool thing is, Bob is also a wise man. Bob applied the principle of K-muxing with the advantage that he doesn't have to be afraid of his messages being eavesdropped. So if a bystander intercepts the messages he sent to Alice, the bystanders could not comprehend any one of them, because each one is just ambiguous. And that's the principle of K-muxing and K-demuxing, how these principles can be put into practice. And okay, so any question so far? Now, it's a story of one nice guy. Now, we have another story of an alliance, or a gang of three nice guys: Adam, Bob, and Chuck. All of them want to get Alice's attention. Okay. Bob and Chuck are shy. Okay. Although Adam is a bit more outgoing. So Bob suggests they apply the principle of K-muxing again, but this time, because Bob was sitting in Dr. Chan's lecture, he learns another special principle, which is called digital enveloping. So by applying the principle of digital enveloping, the three nice guys sends Alice a few messages. So Alice receives the messages, and she goes through all of them, and the messages again get her confused a little bit, but it seems fairly readable. So it reads like this. So I'm SO at Adam. Okay, so could this be Adam? So I have voice as good as Adam. Okay, so it must be Adam who sent me the message. I'm as tall as Adam, so this must be Adam. I'm as rich as Adam, and so this guy must be Adam. But again, Alice is very smart. She has amazing sixth sense, the unquestionable instinct, right? she learned, because when she was sitting in Dr. Donald Chen's lecture, she learns the principle of digital de-enveloping. So immediately she figures out, wait a second, if I apply the principle of digital de-enveloping, I will figure out who sent me the messages. It must be the three guys, Adam, Bob, and Chuck. Although, at the first sight, I thought it's Adam who sent me the message. Okay? So, the cool thing here is if a bystander intercepts or eavesdrops the message is sent to Alice, he would thought about the same thing. You would thought it's Adam who sent the messages. So, any question so far? Feel free to take more sweets.
So the digital de-enveloping is different than the wavefront demultiplexing, or that the same thing, but just a different name.
Yeah, it is based on the similar principle, similar operations, but they feature the same. They feature. They both feature redundancy, reliability. Yeah, but as you see, digital de-enveloping. Digital de-enveloping takes something that the bystander could get confused. Yeah, because it's perceivable messages.
So it will be more secure than the waveform demultiplexing.
Well, both waveform demultiplexing and digital de-enveloping both provides
secure.
privacy protection.
Okay.
Yeah, but digital enveloping is customized such that
Okay.
the input or the input to the envelope.
May I add a little bit? I think KMAXing, you look at KMAXing signal,
Mhm.
you hear this what like in the marketplace,
Mhm.
a lot of noise,
Mhm.
but you know it's a mixture of signals.
Mhm.
But when you do digital enveloping, the message you got, just like you heard before, a few minutes ago, is you heard it's a piano solo,
Mhm.
right? You would not suspect that actually their message hiding inside
Mhm.
this one. So one difference is that one is this is something hiding. The other is you don't.
Mhm.
As far as the technique is concerned, they're almost identical.
Mhm.
How to de-envelope.
Mhm.
Okay. Toward the end, I'll make a summary. Okay.
Sure.
If we have time. If not, then we just let go.
Mhm.
Okay.
Okay. Yeah. Thank you. Okay. So this is another story of the three nice guys. And let's see what Bob is thinking about at this moment. So, okay, Bob will try very hard to have a date, and now he has some option in mind that if he wants something as simple as it gets, what he can do. So, at some point, you want just to send a short voice message to Alice, but he is shy, so perhaps he wants to sing a song, but he doesn't really want Alice to feel embarrassed when receiving his message right away. Okay, so he wants to use an envelope perhaps another audio file to encapsulate or to wrap up his private voice message. So can he do this? Is this just a fantasy? Well, we'll show you that by using the principle of K-muxing and digital de-enveloping, this can be put into action in practice. So it's no more fantasy. Okay. So in the following, I will do a few demonstrations. I can show how we send a private message written in a .txt file to be wrapped up in an audio file. And I can also show how we can put private message in Microsoft Word, again, wrap up in audio file. And the third one I can show you is that we do real-time voice recording to be wrapped up in another audio file. Okay, so
You mean get enveloped by an audio file?
enveloped by audio file. Okay, so let's reignite our imagination again. So Bob wanted to talk to Alice. So Bob realized that tonight Alice will be studying hard in the library. So Alice will be carrying her computer, sitting there studying hard. And Bob will carry his own computer too to try to approach Alice. So Bob wanted to send Alice some private message and hoping Alice can figure out what's the real message there. Okay, so let me show you what Bob can do. Okay, I will need a, let's see. So suppose this is Alice's computer, okay, and this is Bob's computer, okay, and now I try to write some private message. Sorry, you cannot see that because now I try to sorry. Now I'm composing a short message in .txt file. Okay. So let's say I put hi.
Why don't you ask Dr. Ye? You dictate. And you write it. See whether you will be able to return.
Yeah, that would be a good idea. So
I send a
anyone can
message?
contribute.
Yeah, you whatever you're going to type it.
You send the message to Alice.
Yes. Yes.
Okay, it's a Valentine Day. Can we have a date?
Okay. Okay. Valentine. Can we have a date? Okay. So I'm doing digital enveloping, although you cannot see right now.
Well, the only thing we can see is showing up there. So
Yes, yeah.
keep going. Yeah.
Yeah, I try to have your attention focused on Alice's computer, the one that can do digital de-enveloping, okay? But as if I were Bob and I was sending a file, a special file to Alice's computer when Bob is approaching Alice, okay? So we really appreciate the invention of the Bluetooth, so Bob can make this possible. Now, so suppose Alice is just very amenable, and she receives whatever she sees, and so she clicks accept. Okay, then a new message come in. Okay, it's right here. So, guess what? Alice is smart, and she knows the principle of digital de-enveloping.
You want to hear what's the envelope? What did you see?
Yeah.
You see
Right,
first?
right. Okay, so now suppose Bob made an error. He sent the message to wrong guy. Okay, so a bystander just received the message without knowing anything about the digital enveloping. So all the guy could do is just click on the file. Okay, so this is what a bystander can hear. Let me play it again. Okay, so it's a recording of Chinese opera for 10 seconds. All right, so that's it. So, but now, if our smart Alice can do digital enveloping, what she can realize is as the follows. So now Alice is doing digital de-enveloping, and a new file pop up here. So let's see what it reads. Can anyone read it for me?
Can you make it bigger?
Yeah. Zoom. Can you read? Oh, sorry, it's a, maybe I typed it wrong. It's Valentine. Can we have a date? Right?
Yeah, right.
Yes. Okay.
That's what I say.
Yeah. So I can give myself a candy. All right. So this shows.
So Alice didn't hear anything. He just see the text.
She can hear.
She can hear.
She can just before she does a digital de-enveloping, she can click and she hear how the
Chinese
enveloping.
opera.
She
sounds
has
like.
options to hear the envelope by just an envelope. He also can hear the to see the
Message
message inside the envelope. Both. She has access to
Okay.
both.
Yes. Okay. Yeah. So now I invite another volunteer to contribute another message. So we can do this again. Sure.
Yeah, I'll volunteer.
Okay.
Okay, you want to walk here?
Oh, yeah,
Type?
sure.
Yeah. Feel free to type.
Okay, so I just type again?
Yes.
Okay.
Don't tell us what you want to type because we don't see it.
Ask Dr. Ye for an A.
Give me an A.
And this will be for Alice, right?
Anything you want to put.
Anything I want to put?
Yeah, anything
Okay.
I want to. I'm random reading what you write now.
Okay.
Whatever you write, Alice can see.
Okay, so whatever I write, she can see it.
Okay.
And we cannot
Nobody
see
else
it.
can see it.
Okay.
We doesn't know. We cannot see it.
Okay.
So earlier time you asked how many papers we published together. I count at least six,
Six.
at least.
Okay, good.
Before Ali joined us, we had another couple students.
Right. I don't remember.
At least,
yeah.
at least.
I remember one that we actually wrote was the professor in UCLA.
So that's it?
Yes.
Okay.
He was
Kang
also
Yao.
called, because that's the time he joined us first.
Yeah, right. Okay.
Right.
Okay. May I have your name again?
Oh, David.
Oh, David.
David.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I should have give you.
Candy.
And before
Very
you-
important.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
For your help.
Yes.
We want do two things. We want to listen to the envelope
Okay.
and also see the content.
Sure. Definitely.
That's all we needed. right?
Definitely. Okay.
Okay.
Okay. So now I am pretend to be Alice who receives the weird message.
From
Okay.
David.
Oh,
From
okay.
David.
From David. So it's not weird. It's probably okay. Something we can expect. Okay. All right. So this is David. The message is sent by David. Okay. And Alice clicks on it. Hi
So-
David, could you tell us you learned Chinese opera before? So there's no way it's you who composed the Chinese recording, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
But there's a very important one. If anybody want to listen
Yes.
without the enveloping process
Yes.
in his or her computer,
Yes.
and which is the one that both the sender and the receiver agree to,
Yeah.
all he hears is this one,
Uh-huh. Yes.
right?
You're right.
Yeah.
Right. Now let me do digital de-enveloping. Okay, so a new message comes up here. Okay, so let's read. Okay, let me zoom in. Oh,
I don't have the problem that will you be my work. That is what you write, David.
is it exactly the same?
Yeah.
That's what you put?
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, great. So this is a good example of our social experiment for this special season. Okay, thank you, David. Okay.
Good.
So-
now you have a date now.
Okay. So now let me proceed to show you the second type of demo. Okay.
So how many you going to show? Going to show four?
Three.
Three.
The Okay.
second
So let me show you the second one, and later we can just come back to repeat whatever
Okay.
you guys want. Okay. So again, I need the third volunteer. Sorry, to contribute a few messages or some idea. So this time we have we want to send a private message through written in Microsoft Word. So you know it's more like a format-rich media. So we can put text and as well as figures, right? Why I cannot open the desktop?
It went to another screen.
Going to another screen.
Okay, so yeah.
Okay. Into another screen.
Yeah.
It's fine. Let me open Microsoft Word. Oh, sorry.
You can have a chair. There's
Oh,
a chair.
that's fine. That's fine. Yeah, because I'm pretending I was Bob and I need to work hard to make this happen.
This is what's the problem with the IT guys. This is actually some of the problem with Apple. If you use a multiple screen and they unplug it, and then a lot of things actually when you try to open it, you went to the virtual screen. You have a hard time even locating it.
Oh, because you extended it to
Right.
the other side, yeah.
Yeah, so that's actually happening. If you couldn't do it, I would suggest forget about this one because
I just opened a Microsoft Word file, okay?
Okay.
So may I have a volunteer who contributes his or her idea about what to put in a Word? Anyone?
Yeah, I can.
Okay, okay. Thank you, Salim. Yeah. And don't tell us what you put.
Don't worry,
Yeah.
I won't.
Can you also draw something on top of it, on that?
Yeah.
Okay.
Or you can put a picture also.
Yeah, right,
Yeah.
right, yeah.
So it can be a color, can be black and white.
Okay.
Okay, but I have my personal remark on this one. I'm not Bob. Oh, I'm sorry. I'm not Bob. I never done these things before in the library, and so if you do this later tonight and you successfully send out your message, you can give the credit to Dr. Chen. But if you fail, we have nothing to do with this.
Well, it must be a very sophisticated one.
No, I just don't know how to save it. But that's my
Oh, okay,
message.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you. All right. So I'm composing a special message using digital enveloping, and I'm sending this one to another computer. Okay. Let's receive this message. Okay. It's here. All right. So now we got this special audio files.
Can you listen to the audio file again?
Sure. So let's click on it. So Sunny, you didn't do this right? You didn't sing any Chinese opera, right? You don't have like a
Let's see.
special skill like ultrasound singing, right? No? Okay. Okay, so anyway.
So secret.
Okay, so now let me try to, let's decipher the hidden message, okay? So let me do digital de-enveloping. Okay, a new message pop up here. Okay, let's open it. What is it? What is it? Some part are missing. Okay. Do this again. Okay, let me check. Sorry, I could not see the desktop folder.
So when he do the digital enveloping, just like put something before modulation, right? Before the
It's in the data domain,
in the data domain.
not in the waveform domain.
In the data domain.
Yeah. In other words, you have not changed the information into symbols.
Oh, okay.
Okay. So it's the data
Before making
before
a
you
symbol.
convert that
Okay.
into signal.
Okay.
Yeah. But the processing is the same as the keyboxing we have been, you guys are familiar with, that we were actually doing in the signal domain.
Right,
That
right,
is-
right,
Okay,
right.
that's a
Right.
sample of signals.
Mhm.
And this is not. This
Oh,
is
okay,
the
so
data
that's the
signal.
only difference.
Yes.
Okay,
yes.
so one is waveform multiplexing is on the symbol domain.
Right.
But this one is on the
Data.
data domain.
Yeah, the data, 1 or 0, 1 or 0. Yeah, you sample by sample.
Let me do a digital de-enveloping again. Oh, sorry, Sandy, I forgot to give you your candy. Oh, please claim your prize.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
It doesn't work?
For some reason, it doesn't open.
It's a secret.
Let's move on to other, and then we can come back later with this one.
Okay.
Okay, yeah, otherwise you're gonna stop.
Okay. All right.
It was too private to open.
Yeah.
Private. Yeah. Right.
You can see there's still some glitches that needs to work on. We need to work it out. Okay.
Right. One time we need a special surprise. Okay. Please bear with me. Let me try it again. Okay.
So when you do the demultiplexing for the de-enveloping, is also on the last stage in the data
Yeah.
domain
Yeah, after your demodulation.
after demodulation.
Right, yes.
That's-
Yeah, I think let's, oh.
Yeah, that's
This
my
is what you
message.
put?
Yeah, that's my
Okay.
Make
message.
it bigger
So
so people can see it.
let's see
I-
what message you put. So yeah.
I
Why don't
never.
you, why don't you increase the
Okay.
button?
Okay, sure.
I introduced her a movie.
Oh, okay.
Sorry,
let me zoom in.
No, that's your,
Oh,
your
yeah, right.
opponent.
Sure.
Yeah, go ahead.
Oh, Coco. Okay. Yeah, it's a very friendly invitation.
Sorry,
Okay.
you lost?
Okay. All right. So. This is the
Well, we
second-
would like to invite, I think we should invite Professor Kuo. We would like to hear his attractive voice.
Oh, for that part, we will be using
The Korean.
another envelope from
Okay.
the Korean
Okay.
opera. Okay.
Okay.
Perfect.
Whatever you want to say, even in Korean, that's fine.
Yeah. Anything
Yeah.
you want to say or
Anything
sing
you want to
or
say. Yeah.
clap or something.
Yeah, yeah. Oh, are you ready for it?
Okay, let me set it up. Okay. Okay. All right. So I guess so because we have a special request, so I need to give him candy first.
I had a cold, so I don't know
Okay.
that good.
That's all right.
That's fine. That's fine. Yeah, sure. And, so I may have more time.
We're going to be recording your sexy voice.
I should go there or?
Okay, yeah, you may come here. Can you bring this? Okay. So no one can see this now, but let me explain. Okay. So I just click one button. Okay. Then you can say or sing anything you want for about as long as you want. Okay. And probably for 15 seconds or something, or 20 seconds, as long as you want. Okay. And that's it. Then I'll be sending out the message to another computer. Okay. Okay. And you will play back your recording a little bit later. Okay. So please start. You can say or sing anything you want. Yeah.
All right. I really like the way of proposing, which Dr. Song did among all the proposals. She really
Yes.
have good skills.
Yes. Okay. So if you got your candy? Yeah.
Thank you.
Okay, sure.
Okay.
Okay, oh, I guess, okay. Yeah, I guess we already have a new message. And let me just send out this one. Okay. So I'm receiving this message. Okay. So let's listen to what a bystander can hear. Okay. The request theme from Korean opera, soap opera. Okay. And now let me do a digital envelope.
Yes. Okay. So you got your candy? Yeah.
We're talking.
Okay. Sure.
Oh, okay, so it comes, okay.
Your price is not big enough.
Yeah,
But that's the real message.
yeah, because it's a real-time recording. Yeah, so I would like to invite more volunteers to test. Yeah, yeah, it may help me. Like the last one, we found, well, I probably need to fix something, but yeah. So
Jerry, you want volunteer?
I already did one time.
It's not a voice.
Yeah.
You can sit over here, you can sit over there and speak.
So this time speak something?
Yeah, whatever you want.
Whatever if you want to sing.
Anything you want to say?
You want to say, or Ali, you want to say something?
You're closest.
You have the closer, okay. Or Marco, you want to try something?
Thanks.
Say something.
Yeah.
Okay, so let me see. Right now?
Yes.
Now?
Yes.
Okay, Chinese New Year is coming, so happy Chinese Lunar New Year.
Okay. Thank you.
It's on February 15, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Something like that.
So in about less than 2 weeks.
Okay. So let me send the message. Okay, I'm receiving. Okay. So let's click on the letter, the special message. Okay, so we reuse the same envelope again, so we hear the same thing. Now let me do the envelope.
Right now?
Yes.
Now?
Yes.
Okay, Chinese New Year is coming, so happy
Okay, sorry.
Cut out.
Oh, only 10 seconds?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
They can be configured.
Yeah, sure. Well, that's good, it's my voice.
Yeah, but it's recorded by that computer, not this one.
I see. Good.
Okay. So anyone want to come up to try other demos?
Let me suggest the following.
Yeah.
Let me make a conclusion first,
Sure.
and then we can do more demo. And you guys can play any way you want. We got plenty of time, right?
Yeah, you have plenty time, you have the room until 3 or
Okay,
oh,
well,
afternoon.
Yes, in fact, we have to leave at 3.
Okay.
Yeah, because to avoid the traffic. So let me make a conclusion first, and then we can do more demos, see if you guys want to try to play with it. Okay, would that be okay?
Sure. So
Any more questions before we start concluding what we have? Okay.
yeah. So thank you for your attention, and
Wonderful.
and if you want to do this tonight in the library, it's not my fault.
Thank you. Very, thank you.
Uh-oh, that's my fault.
Too many wires.
Yeah, sorry about this. Okay,
Okay, I have another meeting I need to go, but I think we can still continue use the room until you guys want to leave. Ali, especially you have some question, like a 3-dimensional beamforming, those kind of things, you can always check with him. Okay. And also, any question can ask them, okay? And we can discuss more later after they finish. You deserve it. You deserve it.
What's your name?
Oh,
And are you with the company? What's your
Okay, so what we have demonstrated in the very beginning, actually is the same 4 different audio script, okay? But instead of listening it, I'm displaying in something you can see. So there are 4 scripts, 1, 2, 3, 4. We're going through a pre-processing. The output of it is a mixture of the 4 audio script in here. Sorry, this is the wrong one. Okay, this is we just mixed them together. Remember we started with mixing, so we will hear 4 sets of mixture of signals. Okay, and then we'll crank up the first signal, the piano solo. Okay. This is what we hear. We crank up the first one. All the voice we hear are actually the piano solo only. All the other messages are hiding behind it. This is what we call self-jamming. Exactly like antenna. If you have phase array antenna, you look at every element before you do beamforming in the receive. Every element you hear is the loudest one, signal. It overwhelms everything else, okay? So what do you do to recover the desired signal is through a beamforming process, okay? The beamforming process is actually doing unjamming, to unjam the self-interfered signal. So you will be able to recover. This is the going back process. So what we are actually taking advantage of is this phenomenon, the 2 wavefront. If you only have 1 microphone, nothing you can do about it. You need more than 1 microphone to unjam the signal. In other words, we're recording, this is where one of the microphones were located. This is actually is something we can see, is not something we can hear. This is the Thai, very famous Thai in China's river. They call Qiantangjiang. It's in the very close to Shanghai. Every springtime, they have a very, very high tide, and they actually create multiple wavefront from the tide because the structure of the waterbed. So this is a very, very unique natural phenomenon. You have 2 wavefront across each other. Okay, that where they meet is we call wavefront multiplexing, because in this place they're existing more than 1 wavefront. And this is why we call wavefront multiplexing. We're utilizing multiple of this to, we take advantage of the phenomena over there. We use that for data storage and also for data transport. Okay, that's where it's coming from. So if you look at this in this particular place, it's not 1 signal. It's all the signal multiplexed together. It's just like an antenna element. In the element itself, you have multiple signal in there, okay? Let me quickly going through another phenomenon, okay? You can add redundancy. Like for instance, instead I have 4 microphones, I have 5 microphones, okay? In this case, instead of using acoustic, instead of voice, we're doing the image processing. We have 4 inputs, and this is my bill. Okay, I owe a lot of people money, so I want to hide it behind, so nobody can see. I actually, this poor guy is not a, okay. So instead of, I'm storing all of this on cloud, my information. If I can recover all of this, all on the cloud, instead of 4, I actually using 5. In case any one of this one got lost, I still be able to recover it. Okay? And this is a K-muxing. Now, a special case is to amplify one of them. So if instead I store this with much, much higher intensity, I do pixel by pixel processing. Instead of doing that, I'm doing this. You will see what's actually stored on the cloud is a picture with a Chinese painting. But it's not a regular Chinese painting. It's a Chinese painting with embedded signal. So everybody look at individual data storage on cloud. They will find a Chinese painting. But actually, I will utilize multiple of this to cover this information. You will need 4 of them. This is basically so I can say, hey, I have 4 sources. I need a 4 microphone to recover it. I can put a 5th microphone in there in case one of the microphones die. Or I can put a 6th microphone in there in case 2 of them die, and so on. Okay? So that's basically, it's a technique. You will create redundancy, give you better survivability. You create jammed signal or false signal, which give you privacy. Okay? You can also put some of this as diagnostic signal. If this data has been contaminated, when I recover it, I'll look at this guy, whether this guy is original or not. If this is not, then that means somewhere in cloud that has been contaminated. This is what we call remote data integrity monitoring. That's the capability we have. So this technology by itself, there's no encryption technology involved, completely self-jamming. There's no erasure code involved to generate redundancy. We'll put one more microphone, okay? And we'll have the integrity monitoring capability nobody else can have. And that's basically conclude my presentation. Okay? So we got plenty of time for Dr. Lee to talk about it.
Okay, you guys can keep talking, but I need to go. Okay, I have a meeting, but I will be back. I'll try to get it back in 20 minutes. Thank you. I need it. Yes, thank you.
Any questions?
My question, I have my water.
So I had a question now.
Yes.
So how do you arrange, like, the recipient needs to know that the message is sent in this fashion, right?
That's a good question. Yeah. So for instance, you can send me something first. You're the one you send something for me first. I'm going to use that as an envelope. You're the one
Right.
that has. Nobody else has.
But don't people need to kind of know? I guess I'm thinking of, emails that, aerospace companies send,
Okay.
they have directions.
Yeah,
And
that's just a logistic which we're not addressing.
Okay, you're just doing the technology.
Well, basically you're saying that, suppose you make arrangements, say we're in a private club, okay? We're using, like for instance, I'm a group in a WeChat. We set it up. I can basically say, hey, I send you a picture,
Yeah. And
okay?
do you plan to, commercialize this, or what's your?
As far as business plan is concerned, I think we're open to anything, okay? I mean, they definitely have a lot of application, you can see it. Yeah, we're not claiming this is for quote-unquote security. No, we're not interested in that. We're interested in provide privacy,
Oh,
okay? We're not interested involved in national security.
Then I have one question. So I guess many of us we use Snapchat. So can you basically, so we know like after you read the message, it's gone. But like, what is the advantage of this thing, like about privacy compared to that?
I think one thing is when, I think this is, I forgot your name.
Margot.
Margot, okay. If I want to talk to Margot, somehow we have make a first connections. And she is anticipating I'm saying something. I could even broadcast it. Okay? And nobody will suspect that this particular Chinese painting actually contained embedded messages. Okay? She's the only one who can unscramble it. It doesn't even have, I can even split the signal into 2 channels and send 2 to her. Okay? Instead of all. Okay, for instance, she has this 2 information. Okay? She has this 2 information. I only need, see, she will need the 4 sets of information. I will send a message. One of them through the normal channel. The other could be completely published or broadcasted. Okay? All of them, if they don't know, they will see actually like this. And she's the one who had 2. Nobody else without this 2 be able to recover it. So that's so you have a lot of flexibility, and this is only using 4 to 4. You can use 8 to 8, or 16 to 16, or 1024 to 1024. All kinds of flexibility. Okay. So the key thing is when people look at this one, they would not think something is hiding behind it. Okay, that's very different from encryption. When you look at encrypted data, you know that something is encrypted. Okay, but remember, the technique is not using conventional coding or encryption. This is a self-jamming. That's all. Okay, very different. This is basically, if I were not an antenna engineer, I probably would never be able to think about this because it's the jamming and unjamming. You can jam it. It's like you scramble the egg. How do you unscramble it? Okay. In the encryption, people say, hey, you scramble this way, you will be able to unscramble the same way. This is the antenna. This is a different way of doing it. I'm not scrambling it. I'm just doing jamming. I'll create a signal coming from one direction. I create a jammer, a multiple jammer coming from other directions. I will be able to do directional selections. Therefore, I can do unjamming. Any more questions?
So, Dr. Chen, I'm very curious of that detailed scheme itself. So maybe spreading or de-spreading may be used for realizing jamming and unjamming. But if I refer your patent in the web page, can I see that detailed scheme, detailed algorithm?
We have published about 23 patents.
So they really
a lot of them actually have mathematical description of it.
I see.
But most of them are for different applications.
I see.
But basic things are in there. Okay. The first one actually was for satellite communications. That's originally, okay, for wavefront multiplexing. Those are in the signal domain. The first, I think the first data domain process awarded last year.
Yes.
Yes, the first data domain public award was last. But we have the data domain processing. We have with Dr. Ye, probably 3 or 4.
I see.
3 or 4 papers. they have somewhat mathematical description.
I see.
Okay, you can look at it from coding perspective. Antenna, you do shaping, the antenna actually is doing coding, right, from in the spatial domain. You may be able to look at it from that perspective, but most of the coding will not talk about knolling. Antenna talk about beam shaping and talk a lot about knolling. And this is a special case. I will create knolling at where the jamming coming from.
I see.
Okay, so when I do self-jamming, I know I can I have capability to unjam it by forming null toward that direction. But I need enough degree of freedom, which is number of elements,
I see.
right? Yeah,
Thank you.
yeah. Any questions?
Yeah, well, not exactly about this one, but about what previously we were talking. I mean, if you
Okay.
remember, it was, I don't know if I talk about it right now or later a little.
We have to leave at 3.
Oh, okay, so, that's,
Nice meeting you. Yeah.
Wouldn't mind getting a picture of you, like, right before you leave, I'll come
Okay,
back.
sure, yeah.
Leaving at 3?
Yes, we're leaving at 3, yeah.
Oh, yeah, thanks.
so if you remember, it was the idea of the active scatterers in a system that kind of like you having higher higher dB, and then kind of like assuming that with that active scatterers and beam shaping, what we can do, we can just assume that the system is not, I mean, kind of we can ignore the statistical channel model and just
Yeah.
we go to the deterministic.
Yeah.
But at that time, it was talk about that, we kind of like use that one and also add, the statistical modeling as well and see what's gonna happen. I was just wondering if there is any update, you have done anything on that one front or not yet, or?
Yeah, that actually is a memo, okay, is related to memo. See, memo is it's a slightly different subject
Yep.
from here, okay?
Yep, exactly.
Most of the memo rely on the environment to the environment generate multiple paths. You take advantage of the multiple paths, you will be able to send multiple signals through different paths to a same destination. Therefore, you increase your bandwidth accordingly. Okay. So what we're proposing is to do, because statistically, every place have a scattering, and therefore you can take advantage of it. But for either millimeter wave or most of this stuff, unless you have very distinct scattering mechanism in there, the propagation paths are relatively low or relatively short, especially in big audience, a big auditorium. The multi-paths you try to create are very, very difficult, and you may not be able to duplicate it. So what we're thinking about is using active scatter. Like for instance, I have a ceiling, I can create active scatters. Every potential scatter can create a unique path. Therefore, I'll be able to increase my bandwidth from one place to the other. Okay, that's basically the essence of the concept. And so instead of looking from statistical, they call it, in the memo, they call it channel information, what was that, channel information?
Channel statement?
Channel status information. We actually incorporate that. When you measure it, we will be able to incorporate, but that one is fixed. You know you can rely on it, you know you can control it. So you will be able to create a memo through this in a small environment. Or even outside in free space, you can use UAV as scatter. Okay? Or you can use the laptop, okay, as a scatter. You can create artificial scatter in there. Or in a big auditorium, or the light bulb in the chandeliers, okay, you can use it as a scatters. So all of those are potential to generate a realistic, reliable propagation model, which is not depends on quote unquote the structures or in situ dynamic moving bodies. I mean this, and you can control the strength as well. That's the purpose of the paper. Definitely that you can use that, incorporate with this technique, but it's two different subjects. Okay, yeah.